All right, so in the studio today with this thing, the Roland MC-303, highly underrated. And I can't say it's not a bad reason that it's underrated. It's just overlooked because it sounds absolutely amazing. The way, I don't know if you want to call them faults or whatever, I just like everything about this drum machine. Anyway, I'm working with this and the Ensoniq ASR-10. And on a side note, if you don't know about this, yeah, that. You know where to find it, you know where it is, and it's been asked enough for long enough, so there it is. More about that in the future. But yeah, so working with this, Sequencer is amazing. It has a wicked layout, step recording, any type of recording you like, it's nice. But sometimes when using this with another sampler, and in this case, the ASR-10, you kind of want to run each sequencer natively. And it's something that I do that just works out for me because I kind of get used to using a sampler with its own function. So in this case, we're using the Roland MC-303 natively with its own sounds, with its own sequencer, and the ASR-10 with its own sequencer running together. So let's just play a little something here and I'll show you what's going on. So make sure and we'll... All right. So check this out as I move the volume down. That's ASR-10, right? And that's everything. Yeah, stop. So this is running its internal sequencer. The ASR-10 is running its own sequencer. And they are linked by MIDI to keep the time base straight, but they are running independently with their own sequence structure. So let's go over to the ASR-10 and see what's going on. So here on the 10, I just have a little bit of samples coming from here. Just simple stuff. Right? Not much. And I spoke about this before. When you're working with a whole lot of samplers, it's just sometimes it seems like overkill, but just a little something from one sampler, a little something from another sampler, little bits and pieces here and there really add to the flavor because you have a whole lot of different ingredients from different sources. And when you combine them all together, they sound different. You know, they just work out. It really adds to the overall mix because you have so many sources in one place and they all have their little character. It's just a good thing to do. Even though it seems like overkill, in the grand scheme of things, it really works. So MIDI is quite simple. We're just coming out from the MC-303 into the ASR-10, and it's not anything special. All that's happening is the 303 is sending MIDI song start information to the ASR-10. Right, so here on the MC-303, again, we're just sending out song point information. So basically, when I press play on the MC-303, it just instructs the ASR-10 to start. It really doesn't even really need a time base because this is running at the same BPM as the ASR-10. So they're both kind of just simultaneously stepping together at the same time. And all I need them to do is to start at the same time. As long as they start, I'm straight. So here on the mixer, just to follow things through, ASR-10, MC-303. They're both running on their separate channels, and I can change the volume. I could also EQ certain things. Usually, I don't tend to EQ much at all with these things. What really matters is the level. The ASR-10 runs super hot, way hotter than most instruments. So usually, you got to kind of balance them out here, and that's usually all I really use the mixer for, other than a central place for both of these to live. So now that these two are linked up, all I have to really do is make sure that they start at the same time. And depending on where the position of the sequencer is on the MC-303, it could start anywhere. Like, you see? Like, let me see if I can get to do it. It won't now. But anyway, to make sure that everything starts at the same time, you just want to make sure by doing that, which really doesn't matter unless you own an MC-303. But the concept is that you want this to start on bar 1, ASR-10 to start at bar 1. So now that they're aligned, because they're both running independently, it's important to remember that when they start, they're on point, right? All right, so that's kind of like the main thing. Other than that, you get to keep the comfort of working on whatever native sampler you have. You know, it just really boils down to comfort level and sort of your default workflow, I guess. Sometimes you just get a way of working with the instrument that's nice for you. You don't want to switch it up. Like for me to control the ASR-10 from here, I don't know if I'd like it too much. I don't think I'd like it too much, but I love working in here with the sounds in here. So that's why I do that. I find that rather than try to force a vibe out, I can just do what I need to do here and do what I need to do on the ASR-10, you know? Anyway, that's all I wanted to show you guys today. It's really a good method to use, I find, but that's just me. But until the next time, please take care of yourself. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.